Eagle's Nest, episode 12. This week we have my dad on, David Stehli.
Right.
My father has been a highly requested person to be on the show. A lot of my friends have been asking. So, Dad, why don't you start by telling everyone a little bit about yourself?
I'm a single parent of 2 kids. I grew up in Binghamton. Worked in the restaurant business for 32 years. I've waited tables, tended a bar, worked in front of the house the whole time. A little bit in sales. I did about 20 years in sales, but the whole time always been in the restaurant business.
So, how did you start?
It started when I was 18. I started working for your grandparents. They owned a bar down on Henry Street called Tommy's Tavern. They hired me right when I turned 18, and I took over on Sundays. And my one shift turned into 5 shifts. That was Monday through Friday night. Pretty quick, within a year or two. I was there for 8-9 years before they closed, and it was interesting. It was a neighborhood place, not the greatest neighborhood, but there were a lot of good people there. But it was a blue collar bar.
Yeah.
Everybody shot in a beer. Learned a lot of. I learned the way to tend bar there.
Yeah.
Learned how to deal with people, and now I've moved on to a little bit more finer dining, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But it taught me a lot about people, and people are the same. Doesn't matter if they're rich, poor, they're the same.
Yeah.
You're dealing with people that are drinking all day, and
Yeah.
That's your clientele, right?
Yeah.
Every drink they're getting a little drunker, so
Yeah.
You got to learn to deal with that.
Yeah. So what's the hardest part about working in the bar business and being a bartender in specific?
Dealing with the public.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Clientele can be pretty tough to work with.
Yeah.
You get people that think they're in charge.
Very demanding.
It is demanding, when you're busy. I just come off a shift where it was busy, and there's people that are great. They'll wait for their drinks.
Yeah.
There's other people that are, mad that you're not there immediately. Like, they just don't notice everybody around you. So, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
There's 20 other people in front of you. So,
Yeah.
But it's just dealing with the public and being able to brush it off when they're yelling at you.
Yeah.
So, you learn pretty quick.
Yeah. So you're at the Beef now, and you've been there for how long?
A little over 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah.
So how did you first get your job at the Beef?
Actually, I heard about it from a friend of mine. She was a waitress there. She was a waitress with me. She worked lunches with me at Possibilities, which was my second waiter job. And I worked lunches and dinners there. But she was a waitress at both places. And she turned me, and she said she had turned me on to it as far as one of the bartenders was leaving that worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And it was a woman that was leaving, and I went in and interviewed with the owners, Bill and Linda. Well, Bill I interviewed with. And, he hired me that day. He made me come in and train with her. She was, I'd been tending bar at that point for about, 15 years.
Yeah.
She'd been tending bar for about 2 years. So it was kind of a joke to have to train with her. But,
yeah.
I went through it. My friend told me it was a good job and a good location. I knew the restaurant. I knew it was going to be a good job. I didn't know, how good it would be, but, I knew it was, going to be a good job. So, anyways, I went through all the rigmarole for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I did the training with the bartender, and I took over, and I've been there over 20 years since, and I've worked the same shifts for over 20 years.
Yeah. So right now, you are working at the Beef Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then you're at the Downs Ave every other Saturday.
Yeah.
How do you like working that much, or how does it work? Do you enjoy your schedule that you have? Do you wish you worked less? Do you wish you worked more?
I love the schedule I have. It's, most people have to work 5 days a week from 9 to 5. I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I could if I wanted to. Money's good in the bartending business. You don't have to. Of course, I used to work 70 hours a week for 20 years. But now I don't have to do that anymore. So. Yeah, it's nice. I love my shifts.
Yeah.
I get, who has, every other weekend has 4 days off and every other weekend has 3 days off.
Yeah.
Not many people,
Yeah.
And can support a family.
Yeah.
So, I've enjoyed that aspect of it for a long time. And, I always said, well, I'll go back to doing something again during the day. But haven't needed to, so I
Yeah.
haven't done it. And, yeah.
So what would you say your favorite part of working is?
I've always enjoyed the aspect of being, the person to person, the
Yeah.
contact. It's same thing within sales. I enjoyed that. That's what it's all about. It's like talking to people. It's a little different every day. Although when you're in a bar business, a local bar, you deal with a lot of the same people, same conversations. But
Yeah.
all in all, it's a little different every day. It's not the same
Yeah.
as going to work and whatever you do, where you kind of doing the same thing. That's what I've always enjoyed about it.
Yeah. Well, I've always enjoyed, it's a very laid back kind of, environment in the sense that, you're working with people that are drunk all the time or going to be drunk, and it's just the situations and the things that you hear in a bar, you won't hear anywhere else.
No, you don't.
Like you hear some crazy stuff in a bar.
You do.
And you see some even crazier stuff, like, for example, I don't know, it was about a year ago. Do you remember when there was that cracked out lady across the street that was like squirming on the laundromat in front of the laundromat?
Yeah.
Like that's the type of stuff that you see, just like because I don't know what it is, but you get some crazy people in there sometimes, and
you definitely do. I mean, I've seen a lot of different stuff over the years with customers, with people walking by the place. Stuff you see is crazy.
Yeah.
Things you've dealt with. Some of the things. I mean, I've got a ton of stories that I don't even think I can even tell you about on a podcast like this. They're just inappropriate.
Yeah.
But it's it's definitely an interesting business.
Yeah.
We've spoken. I've told you a lot of stories before about my first time working down at the Union Hotel when I worked there.
Yeah.
Somebody threatening me with a gun. I've had people pull knives on me. I've had women attack me. I've had men attack me. I've dealt with all of it.
Yeah.
And learned. Thank God the beef's not really like that. I don't have to deal with that. And that was kind of the reason once I got in there that I haven't left because I don't want to deal with that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it was different. I didn't mind a fight.
Yeah.
Times,
Well, yeah, you used to be quite the scrapper back in the day. A lot of people don't know that about you, but your childhood, you were fighting a lot.
I did a lot of fighting when I was younger.
Yeah.
I lost, as everybody does. There's always somebody tougher.
Yep.
But there were a lot that weren't tougher. I was, so yeah, I did all right. But when you're tending a bar, you can't,
Yeah.
You have to protect the bar and you have to protect yourself. And,
Yeah.
They always said don't come out from behind the bar if somebody's out of hand. But there's times that you have to come out. And
Yeah.
once you do, you're kind of legally, you're not really condoned to do anything. But if you don't have a bouncer, which I never did,
Yeah.
I threw some people out. I had some little girls give me hard times, throw their legs up on the door handles as I was throwing them out of the bar. I've been punch throwing people out. A lot of things, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy stories.
Well, the other thing that I always thought was crazy too is, and you've experienced this in the past, is people coming in to use the bathroom, and then they just destroy the bathroom. Like they'll come in and just like smear their feces on the wall and like crazy stuff like that. That's something that you won't see in a lot of places, and I think in the bar business we get some of the best and we get some of the weirdest of the weirdest.
I don't understand it.
It's crazy.
People pee all over the place.
Yeah.
I've had kids come in. That's why a lot of places don't let people use the bathroom that aren't customers.
Yeah.
I've had kids come in and smear their feces on the wall in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Came in, can we use the bathroom? Like 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
And you let them, a couple of them go in, they come out, and it's like somebody who goes in, they're like, yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain that.
Yeah.
I just don't get that mentality. But,
Yeah.
All kinds of strange stuff happens.
Yeah.
You know,
So, I'm sorry, continue.
No, we've had, I've had customers that you think are great people that go out to the bathroom, and the next thing you know, they're stealing a bottle of wine, taking it out, putting it on the back porch.
Yeah.
And getting caught and denying it. And, hey, you're on camera, like we saw you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in the business and a lot of things that people do that you just can't comprehend.
Yeah.
And why they do them, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So, what made you choose this profession?
I always was interested in it. I knew the money was good. people love bartenders. So when I was at a young age, it was all, kind of about, meeting women and the money and, times have changed. Money's a lot better now. Of course, I'm a lot older now, so I don't meet the women I used to meet. But, I make more money. Times have changed. Tipping's a lot better now.
Yeah.
People understand that, how hard you work, so they tip you better. But, back in the day, I would work a 12-hour shift and make $60 in tips.
Yeah.
And that was at $5 an hour or $4 an hour, and think I had a good night.
Yeah.
If that happened to me now, I'd quit and work at Walmart.
Yeah.
Times have changed, but yeah, it just was a job that interests me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I gotta ask, has there ever been a time where, because we talked about like dealing with crazy people, has there ever been a time that you told somebody to leave and they would refuse to leave, you couldn't get them out, like some really big guy or something that's just causing a scene?
Oh, it doesn't have to be a big guy. I've had little people tell me no, they won't leave. Women tell me no, I won't leave. Yeah, and basically, I learned going through the business. When I was younger, again, I would physically remove them, and there'd be a fight and whatever. As I got older, I dealt with a different way. Like, okay, fine, don't leave. I'm just going to call the cops and let them remove you because it's illegal. If I tell you can't be there, it's trespassing. I have the right to throw anybody out of the bar, or any bartender does that for any reason we want.
Yeah.
It's not your right to be in that place. So, with that being said, I had a woman a few years ago at the Beef that I asked to leave. I said, I'm not serving you. I'd had problems with her before and asked her to leave, and she refused. She said I was being racist. Although she was a white woman, I really don't understand.
It's the red skin, Dad. You look too Native American for her, I guess.
Well, I guess maybe she thought, I don't know. I'm not going to get into the whole topic of what I thought, but she would not leave. And I said, fine, I'll call the cops. You call them. I did. They showed up, and they told her that if you are not out of here immediately, you're under arrest. And if you ever come back, you're trespassing, you'll be arrested again. And you are wrong. You do not have a right to be here. If he asked you to leave, because she was a scumbag, you need to leave. You don't have, it's not your right to be here. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely happens. I've dealt with it. I've learned to deal with it where I don't have to get involved anymore.
Yeah.
If it comes to that, it doesn't very often where I'm at, but yeah, 911, baby.
Yeah. They'll get you quick.
Yeah.
They'll show you exactly where you need to be going.
Exactly where you need to be, and if anybody's going to get in trouble, it's them, not me. So.
Yeah. So besides just working in the bar, we talked about this earlier too. For those of you that don't know, we tried to record this podcast earlier and had some technical difficulties. But you were breaking up a bar fight once, and my mother punched you in the face. How did that transpire? Like, how did that happen?
That was
because were you guys dating yet, or how was that working?
Yeah, we were dating. We were actually living together, and a friend of mine and his brother got in an argument. It had something to do with my one friend's girlfriend, and they were in a fight. I came out from behind the bar to break them up. Actually, it was somebody who was hitting on his girlfriend. So I had two brothers on one side, these other guys on the other side. I was in between with these guys swinging at each other.
Yeah.
And your mother came around. She had a couple, and she thought that I shouldn't be breaking up the fight, that it was her place because it was her dad's bar, to stop the trouble. Anyways, in the midst of everything, me in the middle with these punches going over me, I'm holding the guys apart. Your mother's in front of me and punches me in the face once or twice. I don't even remember. I had gotten hit by a couple other people too. But, yeah, it was pretty comical.
Yeah.
We laughed about it later. It was all in the heat of the moment. We were, 23 years old back then, so 24 or whatever it was. But yeah, it was. I won't mention any names, but it was pretty comical.
There was another time, and just so you know, I can cut this out if you're not comfortable talking about it. You told me a story a while ago
Yeah.
about when you were in a bar with Mom, and some guy came up and they asked you if you were Dave, and you told him you didn't like him, and you told him no, and then he started talking about Mom. He's like, "Oh, she's hot. I'd love to bang her," or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that story?
I do. I know exactly what you're talking about. He asked me if you look a lot like Dave Stehli, and I was just messing around. That's not me. It's too bad. He says, man, I like to bang his girlfriend, and started talking. And I said, excuse me, and I ended up knocking him out. By the time it was all said and done, he knew exactly who it was. But,
yeah. No, that was one of my favorite stories. I was like, that. How did you how did that happen?
That happened.
It's crazy.
That happened at Nips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what's crazy now is that Sharky's is closed.
Yeah.
Sharky's has been a staple around here for a long time, and it's gone now.
Yeah. I was just talking about that with somebody down at the bar.
Yeah.
Before I left work.
Yeah. So, moving on from the restaurant business, what do you like to do outside of work for your hobbies or pastimes?
As we've enjoyed together, fishing, hunting. I've gotten back into golf the last couple of years a little bit. I enjoy relaxing at the lake. I enjoy relaxing on the couch watching TV. Don't fish as much as I used to, but I've always loved it and hope to do it more again in the future. From fishing on the lake or fishing in a pond to ice fishing. I haven't ice fished in a long time, but all good stuff. Hunting, which we've done together, your sister and I and yourself. Hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. Like, you guys have always busted my ass about how can you just sit around and be bored. I'm like, well, when you get to be my age, you'll understand, like, boredom's a good thing.
Yeah.
Sitting around watching TV, being bored on the couch, or sitting on the deck in the summertime, or at the lake, sitting on the dock and just staring out you're going to enjoy that sometime.
Yeah.
I know it's boring to you now, but I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those are the things I enjoy.
Yeah. So, when did you first start hunting?
I started when I was a kid, as you guys did with me. My father started taking me around 12. That was when he and some friends bought our property up in Shenango Forks, Green area. We built a place up there, or the adults did. I was 12 years old. I did some menial tasks, but whatever. So, I started hunting with him about 12, and at 16 was when I was, got my license and started hunting on my own a little bit, and, took my first shot at a big deer at 16, which we talked about before. And, hit it, but never found it. I didn't really get my first deer nice-sized deer, until I was, I think, about 23, 24 years old.
That's the one that's hanging, right?
It's the one that's hanging, yeah. That was pretty interesting. Dad and I were supposed to hunt. Or maybe I think actually he had told me he wasn't going to hunt, he'd be up later. And I was supposed to be in the woods at, whatever time I said I was going to be up there. And, of course, I was late. I got up there, I was younger, I was out drinking the night before, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I was at work, I can't remember. But I didn't get up there and get into the woods until I was an hour and a half, 2 hours late. It was probably 7:30 when I walked in the woods.
Yeah.
Sun was up. I sat down. Half hour later, I had this doe come through, and a buck followed behind her. Nice 8-point, and I was pretty excited. I was sitting there, and I don't know, it was about a 30 to 40 yard shot. I can't remember exactly. Shot him.
Yeah.
He went down, jumped back up, and took off. And went down across the logging road, down into the woods, disappeared. And I did as you're trained to do, just sit there. I knew I hit him. Sit there and let him, run. He's gonna stop.
Yeah.
I waited about 15, 20 minutes. I got up, went down the hill, and was looking. Got into some pines and looking, and he's nowhere. And I lost him, and I looked over, and there he was, humped over, right next to a pine tree.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so excited. I went over to him. He was dead.
Yeah.
I set my gun down. I was so excited. I went running back to camp. And as I was just about the time I'm getting to camp, I had called in on my walkie-talkie and said, I got one. And I ran back to camp, and Grandpa was at camp by that point. And I said, I got one, Dad, this beautiful 8-point. Oh, he says, where is it? I said, well, I told him where it was. He says, where's your gun? I said, I left it.
I don't know.
I left it next to the tree where the deer is. He says, Dave, don't ever leave your gun in the woods.
Yeah.
Another lesson learned.
Yeah.
If somebody comes along, not only do they get your deer, they get your gun.
Yeah.
You don't leave them.
Yeah.
But, I was pretty excited at the time.
Yeah.
So, it's hanging there. And
yeah.
Grandpa got it mounted for me as he got your first one mounted for you.
Yeah. Still waiting on it, but
Still
it should be here soon.
But it'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come. But yeah, it was pretty exciting.
So how would you justify hunting to someone that is against hunting? How would you explain why it's why you do it?
It's like anything else in life. You got to try it. If you don't understand it, you're going to judge it without doing it or at least witnessing it. It's hard to know what it's all about, right? Yeah. Like, we all judge things in life and don't really understand what they're about. A lot of people say, oh, hunting's awful. I can't imagine shooting a deer. You go to the grocery store every day, every week, whatever. You love filet mignon, you love hamburger, you love chicken.
Yeah.
They're treated a lot worse than shooting an animal in the woods.
Yeah.
But people don't see that because they don't see it. They don't, don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's not really so much. I mean, we enjoy eating venison, but it's about, there's a lot more to it than just going in and killing the animal.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going in and you're hunting an animal, but you're doing what your ancestors did, but you're also, there's a lot of camaraderie in it.
Yes.
There's a lot of, you and I mean, it's been something that we could do as a family for your entire lives, right?
Yeah.
Like going fishing when we were younger, it was something we did together. We did a lot of catch and release.
Yeah.
Once in a while we kept the fish, there's been a lot of times we've sat in the wood and we've had, deer come around, doe. We decided they were too small or didn't feel like shooting one that day.
It's really, we're conservationists, really. We're conservationists with a gun. We can choose, like you said. I mean, how many times have we seen a deer that we could have taken a shot at and we chose not to because we thought that it should get bigger or, there's no point in taking out all these little deer or doing this and that.
Yeah.
You release, you catch a fish that's pretty good, you release it. Even if you catch a good fish every now and then, unless you want to eat it or you're going to eat it, you let it go.
Yeah.
And I was talking about it earlier with you. It's for me, I think that it's you learn more about these animals. Somebody that's like, oh well, I can't understand, like, how can you love your dog but then go out and shoot a deer?
Yeah.
And well, you know what? It's different than that. It's, yes, I'm hunting the animal and I'm hunting it for its meat, its food. But I'm also learning, like you talked about, a skill that my ancestors needed to get by. And I don't want to just have to rely 100% on, is the truckers going to be able to bring the meat across the country so that I can have my burger tomorrow? Because who knows, something might happen and we might not be able to get that kind of food. You know what I'm saying? It's good to be able to, survive on your own. And I think that's, for me, I feel more confident in myself. When I know that I can go out and if anything were to happen, if I wanted to go live somewhere more remote, I could provide for myself. And the other thing is all these people, they don't realize, like, we go out there and we have to learn everything about an animal to hunt an animal. Like, I bet a lot of people don't know that deer have terrible eyesight, but they have really good senses of smell. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just like turkey can't see the color red. But they can see other colors. Yeah. Like that's stuff that I've learned from being a hunter, learning what their tracks look like, learning what rubs look like for antler rubs, looking what their feces looks like. Yeah. I guarantee you I know more about a white-tailed deer than any of the vegans that have, they're just like, save the animals, save the animals. It's not just about killing them.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it. I mean, there's laws in place as to how much you could shoot or hunt, and it's about population control. And people can argue that as much as they want, but the fact of the matter is you have a severe winter, a lot of deer they're going to be hit by cars or they're going to starve to death. Yeah. So with population control, with the hunting involved, you thin out the herd a little bit. and it's the same with anything, whether it be turkey, ducks, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that's why they have laws about, how many fish you can catch, how many deer you can shoot, how many turkey you can shoot, how to hunt a turkey in the spring or the fall, and when you can hunt them, Those are all set there because they've studied this and they know, it's just people just don't understand, and they tend to judge without the knowledge.
Yeah. And the other thing that I actually just heard recently was Steve Rennell, who does that Meat Eater show.
Yeah.
He did a movie about hunting and like the morals of hunting and all this and that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this, but the like when you go and buy your tags, that money that you spend to buy like licenses and tags and stuff is actually its own federal fund that goes towards preserving wildlife and preserving different wildlife locations. Yeah. And any extra money runoff actually goes to the fish and wildlife where they can help get rid of pollution in the water and do studies on different fish and stuff. It is helping the ecosystem. Yes, and like you said, it's crowd control,
and
really.
Money is used to stock, different rivers and lakes with different kinds of fish.
Yeah.
They load different areas with pheasant, things like that. Yeah, it all goes out to managing the wildlife, right? Like, as the towns and cities grow bigger and, people move out, these animals lose their habitat. Yeah. So you have to have a way to kind of control it and adjust to it and learn about it, and that's what it's all about. That is where all the money from our license goes. It's all about exactly what you said. Yeah. Following and learning and supporting these different programs.
Yes, and it's very important if you're going to be getting into this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Because people are ignorant and they will attack you just because you say you're a hunter. Yeah. So it's good to know like what you can come back with and say to combat that. Yeah. So what do you think is most enjoyable about hunting?
The relaxation of it.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Nature. Whether you get one or not.
Yeah. I agree.
We talked about this before, and we've talked about it many times. You probably are out there. You might go out, 20, 30 times and see nothing, and then you get a deer. It's not like, we get a deer every year. Some people do. Some people get a deer every single year they're out there. Yeah. I don't have that kind of luck, right? But I enjoy being out there. I enjoy seeing them. I don't shoot every time I see one, as we talked about before. I've let a lot more walk by me because I decided they weren't for me, or they weren't big enough, they're too young, or, I didn't feel it was too late in the day, whatever the reason is. I just enjoy being out there, the camaraderie of the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, that's like one of the reasons why I like Boy Scouts and all that so much too, is because you're outdoors. Yeah. You get to, when you're in the city and you're constantly on your phone or you're constantly near technology, you don't really have time to self-reflect. Yeah. And when you're in the woods and there's nothing else to do, there's nothing to look at, you really get in your own head and you can self-reflect of how your life is going, like anything really. But it makes you sit there and actually connect with yourself and connect with nature. And I think that's very important. And it's something a lot of people lose by just sticking their head into technology.
It's more important now than it ever was before. Kids nowadays have internet everywhere and have a phone in their face 24/7. You're sitting out in the woods, your phone doesn't really work. You might be able to make a phone call, but you don't have your internet access from home. Yeah. And it's just, it gets you away. It puts you out in nature and doing, whether it be fishing or hunting or whatever it is. Yeah. Camping, I don't care. You don't even have to hunt or fish. You go camping. Yeah. Just to get out of the house and do something different. Scouting, that's why scouting was so important. I enjoyed it as a kid, but times were different. Nowadays, like a lot of kids never get out. Yeah. And scouting's awesome for that. They can get out and get away and go camping. They're not sitting in front of a TV playing a video game. It's a different time. Times change, but it's very important.
Yeah. So we talked about this earlier. What is your favorite wild game?
To
either hunt, to eat, both?
Hunting. I mean, my most experience is with deer. I enjoy turkey hunting. We've done a little bit of that. We kind of got into it about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We weren't able to do it last year, but I enjoyed that. It was fun, exciting. Haven't gotten a turkey yet, but that interaction with trying to call them in is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
The one time, of course, when we went with Pete, he was a great caller, right?
Yeah.
Like we heard a lot of that. Was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you remember that when he wasn't there and I was calling.
Yeah.
And
we had them come up behind us.
And I suck, but
yeah.
I was doing it, and we went around about 3 or 4 different spots, and your sister was aimed one way and you were aimed another. You both had your shotguns, and I was calling, and we decided to give up.
Yeah.
We walked up the hill, and the 2 turkey were coming through the brush.
Yeah. That's the way it goes.
That was exciting for me because they were coming to my call. Right?
Yeah.
I wasn't as bad as I thought I was.
Yeah.
They were coming in. We didn't wait long enough.
Yeah.
So, live and learn.
Yeah.
But, hey, fishing, I've enjoyed all my life. I don't do as much as I used to. But it's just, how many times you got to cast a line to catch a fish? 50, 100, 150, some days you don't catch anything.
Yeah.
We've had other times where we, caught a bunch.
Yeah,
but,
nailing them.
it's about relaxation, being outdoors. There's just so much to enjoy about it.
Yeah.
If you get something, the meal's good. If you decide to eat it, or it's also a good feeling to catch a fish and put it back in the water and let it go.
Yeah.
Or see a deer come by and, you got your gun up and decide that that's not the one for me.
Yeah.
And then put your gun down and watch that deer go through living its life, whether it be, bedding down or running through or catches your scent.
Yeah.
Nothing more amazing than that. It's nature.
No, it's pretty cool.
It is cool.
And my favorite thing about being out is actually seeing animals like deer and just seeing how they react in their own environment because they don't know you're there. Yeah. At least for me, I'm sitting up in a tree stand. They have no clue that I'm there. Yeah. Any of my smells, they're going right over them, because I'm up in a tree. Yeah. And it's really cool to see how majestic they are. And
how else would you know without being out there?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've hunted with some guys that, as they got older, went out with a camera instead of a gun.
Yeah.
Had been hunters their whole life, but just decided that's not what I want to do. I still want to do it, but not with a gun.
Yeah.
And they go out and they sit in the woods with a camera and take photographs.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
They still get to hang around the campfire and drink beers and eat steak, and we've enjoyed that up at camp. We have our annual dinner every year.
Yep.
That we've always enjoyed. It's just a good time, and going up with your friends. It's not always with the guys from camp, but we take our friends up there and enjoy the outdoors. And it's nice that we've got it and can share it with other people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I always love taking friends up and not even just hunting, just going up and hanging out up there.
Hanging out.
People love it up there.
Taking the scouts up there.
Yeah.
We did that.
Yeah, we did that a couple
years
years
in a row. And, a lot of those kids from Binghamton had never even probably been to the country, you know, and it was something different for them, you know, and we did, fire starting things and, competitions and splitting wood.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Bumper pool.
I remember that. That was a big thing, bumper pool.
Yeah. So
we went pretty ham on that. Yeah. So do you have any dream hunting spots where you'd like to go? And then any types of animals you'd like to hunt while there?
I wouldn't mind trying it. I've always kind of wanted to go. Grandpa went out west and hunted mule deer when he was younger. That was something he did, and he's got a nice mule deer hanging up in his den. I've always wanted to do that out west. They did it on horseback.
Yeah.
It's a different way of doing it, and they're a different deer to hunt, the way you hunt them, at least according to him.
He loves telling that story about when the one deer or the one horse wouldn't go up the hill. Yeah. So he come up behind it and he smacked it on its ass and it went right up the hill.
Right up the hill, yeah. But he always said, mule deer, when they're running from you, when they crest the hill, their fault is they stop and look back down the hill. and that's when that's when he shot his.
Yep.
Got to the top of the crest of the hill, and it stopped and looked back.
Yeah.
And he plugged it off the back of his horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Alaska. Of course, it's a beautiful place. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah.
Fishing trips. When I was growing up, Grandpa took me. When I got a little older, he started taking me down on his fishing trips with him and his buddies out of New Jersey, and we'd go out deep sea fishing. I probably did that 5-6 times with him. 5. And that was fun. I was out with a bunch of old guys, but I was just a kid throwing up off the side of the boat, catching bluefish, which I didn't really enjoy. I loved catching the fish.
Yeah. I
didn't enjoy blues so much, but always wanted to do it again, and hoping to do it some point in time with you. I wanted to do it and tried to set it up a few times. It hasn't worked out, but there's all kinds of different. Yeah. Kind of wherever you do it, it's just fun to do.
Yeah. So how did Grandpa get started into fishing and hunting and all that kind of stuff? Was it his father that showed him that kind of stuff too?
No, not at all. I honestly, I really don't know how he got into it. I never really had that conversation with him. I know he fished a little bit. I think he just did it with his buddies that were doing it. I don't know who turned him on. It wasn't his father.
Yeah.
His father, they had a place on Jersey Shore. He may have gone fishing with his father. I'm not saying he didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't hunt with his father that I was ever aware of. But he got into it with his buddies. Like I said, they used to drive all the way out to Wyoming, and they did it once a year.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years they did it, but according to him, it was quite a few. He loves to tell the story how he drove the whole way and never slept. Just drove straight through. I could drive 36 hours without sleeping. Whatever it was. But, he got into, I went hunting with him, and we had, goes from there. I don't know how he got started.
Well, we got Grandpa to thank for all of our traditions then.
Grandpa to thank for it, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's something that's a part of me now. The wilderness, I would build a cabin in the wilderness if I could.
Absolutely.
I've been watching this guy on YouTube that he makes like little shacks and things out in the wilderness. Yeah. Like he's got a plot of land, right? And the last video I just watched was him making a sauna out in the woods, like using a wood burning stove, putting some rock on the stove, getting the rock super hot, and then just spraying it down with water. Yeah. And he used one of those, like those, up at the lake when you cross the bridge, it's that aluminum thing under it there. Yeah. He used one of those like circle things, and he rolled it onto its side. He cut he blocked the back off, and then he blocked the front off, put a door on it, and that's basically how he made it. Yeah. He made the sauna that way, and then he cut the hole out for the thing and put it in, and he got it up to like 140 degrees in there. Yeah. Like it was crazy. Yeah. And then he's done stuff where he's made like. He built his own log cabin, and then he built like a storage cellar, like a cold cellar, so it can like keep stuff cold during the summer and stuff. Like that's just cool stuff that a lot of people like. That how many people have a sauna, and you can literally go out and make one. You basically could make one.
No, that's in that type of living. There's shows about it all the time, right? Like homesteading.
Yeah.
I love the show Homestead Rescue, and it's what it is. Basically, like people that have decided to make a change in their life and try to homestead and go out and do that kind of stuff, but really don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And you get the rainies come along and come in and help them, right? In a week, they build a new house, they put in a water pump, they do whatever they do. I enjoy that. It's fun, and I understand why people would want to do it, and other circumstances, I'd probably do it myself. I wouldn't mind doing it. Yeah. It'd be great to live out in the country, Yeah. And be off the grid and, grow your own vegetables, make your own beer. What do you got to go to town for?
Exactly, right? Yeah.
But,
that's the dream right there.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
That would be the dream.
Yeah. I think that would be awesome. Yeah. Well, I was telling you about that show, the OC Mountain I watched on Netflix, where that older couple, where they were getting too old for their house in Alaska, and so they had a competition. Sure. That was a cool show, and they really showed what it was like to live in Alaska. You know, having to deal with bears, like they had to carry bear spray on them, teaching them how to shoot. Like there were two couples, or at least one couple that was of pescatarian, so they had never hunted. You know, and I don't even think they fished; they just ate fish. And so they had to watch, because there's buffalo where they were, right? There's a farm that had buffalo. And so they took them to this farm, and the guy was showing them what it would be like to hunt, right? Yeah. And so he's just got a bunch of buffalo on the thing. So he takes them out, drives them out, and he picks one out, and they're all standing there watching him, and he just plugs one right there. Yeah. Like, and they showed it all on the Netflix show. Yeah. And they were like, oh, that was kind of I don't know if I could do that, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. You know, and I think that's kind of a real thing, too. Like, people would realize once it happens, you got to realize that this happens every day. Yeah. And most of the time, it's an animal that's being kept in a pen that's, like, the size of this table, and they are fed nothing but one, like, grain or whatever, and they just poop while they stand there. And, like, that's no way to live a life, you know? At least with a wild animal, they get to live their life up until that point. Yeah. And they live it free.
It's true. You know, I mean... Again, the tree huggers can say what they want to say, but the day the supermarket shut down, they find out really quick how quick they could go out and figure out how to hunt. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's an argument that I get tired of having with people. Yeah. I don't even argue it anymore. You get older in life, I don't care what people think. Yeah. I enjoy it, and I think it's good. You know, we're not out shooting 50 deer a year. We're not selling it on the side. Yeah. You know, we shoot one here and there. We enjoy it. We eat it. Yeah. You know, or anything else. Fish. Again, like I said, catch and release with the fish. Yeah. Once in a while, you keep one. You eat it. You know. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about. Yeah, we don't enjoy cleaning a deer. No. You know? It's disgusting.
It is.
Quite honestly. But at the same time, that hamburger you bought in the store or the steak. Yeah. Somebody did the same thing to that. Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to be willing to get down and dirty.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's part of life, you know. Just because you don't want to do it doesn't make it wrong. Yeah. You know, and you're right. I mean, people love veal. Yeah. You know, it's a year-old cow that basically has been fed milk its whole life and is chained to a cage. Yeah. Veal's delicious, but at the same time, if you study it and know about it, it's
not very ethical.
It turns you off. Well, it turns you off, right? Yeah. I mean, anyways. I mean, it is what it is.
Exactly.
I didn't make up the rules. I don't even like following them.
So, if you had advice to give to somebody that wants to start hunting but has never gone hunting before, what would you tell them?
I'd tell them to go out and sit in the woods, you know, with somebody that's hunting, you know, just like I did with you kids, you know, growing up, like my father did with me. You know, you didn't just go get your hunting license and go into the woods, or your sister. I didn't either. Yeah. You know, Grandpa took me out. He didn't take, Uncle Jimmy didn't want to go. Yeah. You know, Jim wasn't a hunter. So I was all about it. So I went out and sat in the woods with Grandpa for, you know, I forget what it was, 3, 4, 5 years, however old I was. And I enjoyed that aspect of it. You know, I enjoyed sitting there. I didn't have a gun. Yeah. I just sat there with my dad in the woods, and he taught me about hunting.
Yeah, we did that for the longest time, too.
Yeah, we spent time together, you know. You know, Uncle Jimmy didn't want to do it. That was fine. Everybody has their own choice, right? He showed no interest in it, but I would say if you want to experience it, that's the way to do it. Yeah. And even if you don't want to hunt, you just want to know a little bit more about it, go with somebody. Yeah. You know, like I said, you know, 99% of the time you're sitting in the woods staring at a squirrel. Yeah. You know, nothing comes around. You get to learn a lot about boredom, right? Yep. Like, how many times you've fallen asleep in the woods? Happens.
Yeah, right? It does.
You know. You sit there, you got your coffee, your candy bars. Yep. You know, you look at each other. When we were hunting together, we look at each other and make faces. Yep. You know, I laugh at you, take a picture of you because you fell asleep with your sister. She'd do the same to me. Yep. Yeah, I mean, all in all, it's just about spending time outside. But, you know, once in a while, a deer comes around, and that's exciting.
It is.
If you don't shoot it. you know,
your
you
adrenaline gets
you can't
going.
always get your gun up or whatever. But
Yeah.
you get to have the deer around and you spook it because you moved or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So that would be what I'd say about, anybody hasn't done it or wants to know about it, go sit with a hunter in the woods.
That's perfect. I like that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We're going to end it here. Dad, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone, I'm sure all my friends are going to love this episode that
cool.
we got you on. And if you guys want to hear anything else specific about my dad, let me know, and I'll have him back on. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day.
Thanks.
Peace.
Peace.